Okay, I suppose now's as good a time as any to start. Hello, how's it going? I'm very tired, and although I don't have a very long stream ahead of me today, I was originally not going to stream, but then I decided, you know what, I'm gonna stream. So, I finished the Northumbrian Tin Soldier, guys, and I think, by and large, I finished the, no, I accidentally unkiltered everything. I believe I finished the Tyranids up as far as I want to finish the Tyranids. So now I have some extra time to do some other things. And I have decided immediately, unilaterally, unequivocally, that I do not want to go back to doing the Custodies right now. Instead, what I'm going to do is work on these guys a little bit, set them up, and work on these guys a little bit, set them up. These were a gift from an amazing benefactor who was just trying to get rid of them for some extra cash. So, I'm extremely happy that I was able to get a hold of them, and I can't wait to make a diorama out of them. And, I kind of want to email the guy back and ask if he still has Glom the Paunch, because that model's amazing and I want it. But even if he doesn't, that's fine. What I did find out that was a little bit upsetting and offsetting about these Savage Orcs is that they were already pre-assembled and come with no, well, partially assembled and come with no instructions. So I'm going to have to mess with that. The other thing is that these were copyrighted 2010, which was apparently before they started adding round bases to the models. So these are all square-based models, which is actually really, really cool, and I kind of love it. So I cannot wait to put these together. And the other part to that is these guys over here. This is before they were known as Blackrock Orcs, and they were just black orcs, which, you know, has its own problems, but that's not going to make me enjoy putting these together any less, especially considering, as you can see, they also come with the square bases. And I know technically the square bases are not as good functionally, but I do not care. I think they're really cool, and I honestly cannot wait to put these together. This one is copyright 2007, which I don't know if you can read from here, but I'm pretty jazzed about them. And it's just neat to me that I now own things that are, you know, 10 to 15 years old. So I can't wait to do these guys justice and do some really good paint jobs. That's going to make these things shine. I think I've mentioned it before, but I'm eventually going to make a diorama with these. But right now, I'm going to put those ones aside, and we're going to have to deal with the absolute mess that is these guys, the Savage Orcs. So check this out. You'd think as someone who respects these so much that I would be a little more careful with them, but I think the orcs would appreciate the way in which I handle them. So we're gonna move all that off. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. There's their weapons, and I guess you had the choice of either making them, I guess, hatchet and shield, or spear, or bow and arrow. So they're going to be bow and arrow. And if you give me a second, I'm actually going to mute my phone because I forgot to do that. So let's kill the video capture device. And let's turn that off. And now, no, I don't care. Stop. What is this? Go away. Oh, I'm no longer connected because something interrupted it. Let's go ahead and reconnect my camera. Well, that took all of 2 seconds. Easy squeezy guaranteesy. So now we're going to go ahead and go back to having the camera. Pacha! There we go. So I've got all these sprues mixed with all this stuff that I'm not particularly familiar with, and I have no instructions to go off of. And so one option would just be to say, good luck, here we go. But what I believe I'm going to do... Are there enough heads for this? I only see 7 heads. I'll figure it out. Oh, there's the other ones. Okay, nope, we got all the heads. So what I actually have, and I clearly don't have it up here right now, is I have the instructions from a much later set of these guys, which means every now and then I'm going to pop my head off of the monitor, and I'm going to lose sight of what's going on in OBS, and I'm just going to go ahead and put them together that way. So, let's see, I can either make them Savage Orc More Boys, Savage Orc Arrow Boys, Savage Orcs, or Savage Big Stabba. Now, I know I want to do a Big Stabba, but first, I'm going to go ahead and put together the Savage Boss. So, Savage Boss is going to need... I think I got all these guys trimmed down a decent amount, because they definitely had that problem where they had a ton of mold lines on them. And so I spent a little bit of time going through and, you know, just scraping down the mold lines. And hopefully I did a good enough job that they're not going to show up too heavily on the model when I paint over it. Though, in my defense, I did not exactly have the greatest light upstairs, because I was using a portable one. Yeah, like I can definitely see some of the other more egregious stuff I did not see earlier. Oh no. What happened now? Oh, one moment, please. Orc boys, let's go. Yes, these were a wonderful, wonderful donation from a lovely person, but it seems like my camera has crapped out on me because I got a notification. So I'm going to go ahead and, first of all, mute my damn phone. But second of all, I need to restart Camo Studio. Did that work? No, stop. Camo Studio. There we go. Which is right now not connected to anything, so let's go ahead and repair the device. Immediately found it, so that's great. And now I can hop back into this, and are we good? We are good. Fantastic. So yeah, these were donated by someone who saw how much I wanted them and just didn't have the finances for. And they were like, you know what? These are going to a Goodwill unless you really want them. So I'd rather them go to the home of someone who appreciates them than you know, a rando Goodwill store. So I'm quite happy for these. And I'm happy I'm going to get to do a really cool diorama. I was considering turning them into a bunch of fodder for Turnip 28, but these are 10, 15 years old, you know? And I feel like I'd be doing them a better service if I was able to make a really cool Warhammer Fantasy thing for them, you know? So I'm going to get to try and flex my my diorama making abilities, which right now are fairly non-existent. But I can't wait to turn these into a heckin' neat diorama. And it led me to find, what is it, Glom the Paunch? I don't remember his name because I wasn't into Warhammer Fantasy. But he is a Goblin King that I know he's supposed to lead the Gretchen, but I really want him now because he was such a great looking model. So eventually, I'm going to buy that and make a really neat commander for these guys. And I also found a bunch of STLs of cool Warhammer Fantasy-esque orcs that I'm going to also turn into some really awesome minis. Because I want it to be like a full-on, even if I don't play Warhammer Fantasy, a real full-on army. And get to do fun things with that. But right now, especially now that I have better light, I'm going back through and shaving off some of the mold lines to hopefully give this guy a really smooth, you know, skin surface, so when I start painting him, he doesn't have weird ridges all over him. That'll mess up his muscularity. So we'll see how this all works out. How are you doing? I haven't had a whole lot of time to go online, so I've been missing a lot of stuff. Like, I saw that you had messaged me if I wanted to see some sparring footage, and the answer is, of course, yes, but I was busy last night, and I was unable to answer. So if you got some nifty-shifty sparring footage for me, I'd be glad to watch it. And you can just throw it at me in the Discord. That'll work fine. But yeah, I really want these to look great. I kind of wish I had a better emery board to really smooth this stuff down, but I don't. And I think that'll be fine. Like, it's not going to be super noticeable given that they're all frontline troops. And I'm not going to do like an amazing job with them, but I definitely plan on doing these guys justice to make them look really good. Certainly better than they looked when I got them, because they were just a mess. I love the fact that they've got tongues. Oh no, did it die again? Son of a gun. What's going on with my, what the heck is going on with my Camo Studio? That's really obnoxious. Okay, now it's going to try and move over to the webcam, which it did. Now we're going to go back here, which it did fine. I don't know why it's getting hung up like that. That's really strange. Okay, I heard the link pop, so hopefully that's good. You going to do it again, or are we good? Camo is active. It better be. Yep, I heard the beep boop, so I'll go ahead and give that a watch in a little bit. I'm not going to be online as long today because I have to cook dinner. So I'm probably only going to be on until about 5:30, and then I'll clean up. But I didn't want to get too heavy into like a painting project, because I didn't want to get too distracted into it. Yeah, these are good looking minis. Also, I don't know if you saw, I've got the Savage Orcs, which makes me happy that they're non-proprietary name. They're just the Savage Orcs, which is awesome. But I also have the Black Orcs. So they are not the Aurochs, they are not the Black Rock, they are just straight, you know, big and bad, non-copyrighted, non-proprietary names. Okay, so let me see. It's supposed to be one with a left arm raised, which I think is this guy. And this guy needs face 58 and arm 28 are what's going to be next. So face 58 and arm 28. Well, arm 28 is right here. So that's pretty easy to find. And where's face 58 for me? Where's face 58? Oh man, he's cool looking. And he has some variation too, but I think he's supposed to have... Oh, he's got some kind of shield. He's a sword and shield lad. So I need to find face 58 and it'll all be good. Where's face 58? 57, 53, 54... 58, right there. There's the boy that we need. So yeah, as much as I kind of want to kit bash these, I want to make my first set of them look right by the instructions. And then maybe if I have enough fun painting them and putting together, I'll go ahead and start fucking around with them and making some crazy looking ones. But yeah, I saw your question about Turnip 28. And yes, my understanding with Turnip 28 is it's intentionally very light on the regulations and suggestions on how to make your minis. So you can do pretty much anything you want as long as the base sizes are within like acceptable range of, I think, 20 to 40 for your basic infantry. So if you're doing that, you're good to go. If you want to take some orcs and turn them into fodder, go for it. I would strongly encourage it. I saw a really good-looking Imperial Guard that someone converted to Turnip 28, and it was fantastic. And it's got me inspired. And I'll be even more inspired once I finish putting these guys together. There we go. But right now, I am focused in on putting together these orcs. Let's melt that plastic together. I've actually never owned a Warhammer Fantasy Mini this old, so it's kind of neat to see how much they've changed over the years. And how much their sprue molds and everything else have developed and improved, or in some eyes, you know, declined. It's definitely a neat place to be. I love the old tools. I love the old histories. Because this is from an era where I wouldn't have known about this game. I was still in college when these were being produced and sold in stores. And I think at that point, I hadn't even played my first, yeah, I definitely hadn't even played my first game of D&D. So I was way far removed from potential nerding out with the fantasy. Oh my goodness, his tongue. How are you supposed to fit on there? You silly man. That's amazing. I kind of love this, but I don't get it. Oh, is that it? He's supposed to be screaming straight up into the sky, I guess. That's so nifty shifty. I think it's supposed to be angled whichever way I want it to be. Okay then. We can do that. We can make that work. I kind of just want to paint a little face above the mouth and see how that goes. So is this supposed to be like so? I guess we'll find out. Okay, I'll press down a little bit more on it. Because he's really holding his head in a crazy position there. But let's go ahead and press down a little more on that and see if that'll work. Okay, that can't get over how silly their faces are. And oh no, I left a mold line, so I'm gonna have to move them anyway. Well, that was really easy. Okay. So yeah, I think. Oh no, I can still. Oh no, no, that's way too high. Okay, so no, I got it now. This journey of incompetent discovery is one of my favorite things about putting together the old minis. So it's supposed to be like this, I guess. Or is it for... Oh, wow. That can really pinch back far on his head. That doesn't look right. I'm going to have to check out the instructions again. No, his head is really far back. Okay. Okay, maybe not that far back? I can't quite tell. I do like that I accidentally created like a spit gobbet in his mouth. So that ended up working out really well. What a great looking model. Okay, and he's gonna barely fit on this thing. Did anyone decide to put their dudes on them sideways so they fit better? And did that mess up at all with I guess it would, because it would have it so that when they are lined up, they would all be facing the wrong way. But yeah, that's wild. That's so cool. So we're going to put just a little bit on each strip and hope that it's enough. And then I'm going to put him on here, like here. And I'm just going to hold down on his feetsies until hopefully this guy sticks. And there we go. And then I guess as an extra added precaution, we're going to put a little bit in there and a little bit in there. And I'm going to press down on him even further. And hopefully that will cause all of it to bond. But yeah, I'm pretty digging this guy. So I'm going to put that down for a second so I can look at the instructions. I have them all online. Z74. Oh yeah, he's got a job piece. I can either put 91 or 92 and 93. Well, I don't know the difference. What is the difference here? Okay. I think I got to put just the lower mandible. So he's going to have 74, which is that piece right there. And apparently I'm going to have to do like 91 or something. But we're going to take this giant, really cool, crudely beat out, is that supposed to be, I think that's supposed to be napped rock, napped flint. That's so neat. But we're going to take that, and he's got to have some kind of jaw accoutrement. So I need to look at these ones and find the one that's actually his. They suggest 92 and 93 for like the side mandibles, or they suggest, I think, 91 for just the lower jaw mandible. There it is. So either these two pieces up here or this piece right here. And that's a toughie. They're both really cool looking. I think for this guy, I'm going to give him the lower jaw mandible. And if I decide to make another squad of these by acquiring more of them, then I'll use some of the other bits and bobs. We're going to go ahead and take that. And he needs one more thing, but I'll get to that in a second after I finish carving these guys out. I'm definitely going to have a lot more fun being methodical with this, because there's no reason to rush when you have neat little treasures like these. So yeah, we're just going to cut down on that. And then shave that side a little bit. Try and get that bone to look as smooth yet rough-hewn as possible. And then do the same on the other side and hope that my fingers don't cause me to slice myself open. I am severely lacking in manual dexterity right now. Probably mental dexterity. But we're going to do that. And we're going to cut a little bit of that down. Yeah. And I think take a little bit of that off, because we're trying to get rid of all of the mold lines, make this look as naturalistic as possible. Now, I'm debating. I don't think I want to paint them very grimdark. Grimdark would be fun, but I feel like everything I do is grimdark. So I think these guys are going to be like Warhammer Fantasy Light, if you know what I mean. They're going to look like the packaging, where they're going to be bright and colorful and oversaturated and ridiculous. And while I don't paint that style very often, I think these would be a fun way to figure out how to do it. Especially because of just how nuts they look, right? We're going to chop a little bit of that off. Again, shave that bone down so it looks more like natural bone. There we go. Let's get a little bit of moisture, a little bit of this stuff on the wrist nub, a little bit on the other wrist nub. Let it melt everything down a bit. And I've already forgotten how it's supposed to look on his arm. Okay, just straight up and down. I understand why they moved away from these minis, but at the same time, I kind of miss these minis. That doesn't look like it fits right at all. How are you supposed to fit on that wrist? Huh. That looks better, but unfortunately it all dried out, so let's watch me fumble around with this for a minute longer. We're going to put this about right here. Yeah, that looks about right. I don't know if you can see it, but I think that looks about right on the wrist. Yeah, there we go. Looks like he's raising it up in triumph. And now I'm going to dry fit this mandible bit, which I think is supposed to go on him like so. It's supposed to go over his face, right? It's supposed to go on his chin. But it doesn't fit on his chin. It kind of hangs off his chin. So, let's see. Let's refer back to the instructions. Yeah, no, it just kind of hangs awkwardly off his chin. Okay. So let's put him down so I don't accidentally break the lad. Go ahead and do a line across the inside of this thing. And I suppose I'm gonna go ahead and just put this right here, boss. Maybe a little lower. So, you know, this just feels wrong. I feel like I'm missing a step here. But it definitely went on. Kinda? I don't know, it's an impressive looking set of jaws, but it doesn't exactly click in, and there's like a gap. So I don't know if I fit this on properly. What I think I'm going to do, just to make sure, is I'm going to put a little bit more in at the contact points and allow the plastic to meld together. I'm going to push a little harder and let all that plastic just kind of meld in. And now he looks like he's screaming to the heavens, which is good. So I suppose the next thing will be to look at, oh, he's got an option. 61, 62, 64, 66... None of these. It's all this stuff, huh? So we have the option of 61, 62. Well, yeah, 62. Which one of these do I want? These are all so neat looking. 64 has all the bones. 66 also has all the bones. 67, no, 68, 69. Man, this is like asking you to choose your favorite kid. These are really cool. I think I gotta go with this one, though. There's a lot more interest in that one. Let's see. Anyone got any suggestions? Anyone have any idea which one of them shields I should go with? I really like 64. Though I think 67 definitely lends itself more to different textures, because you've got the wood on the back. You've got kind of the hide stretched tight, and then the little, I think those are metal bits. These are really, really cool. Okay, well, I guess I can't do 67 because there's no hand attached to it. So it has to be this one, this one, this one, this one, or that one. Oh no, it froze again, didn't it? Son of a gun. Heck. Okay. Give me a second. Let's see if I can fix the Camo Studio issue again. I'm going to switch back over to the webcam, which should be blue. Yep, and switch back to that. Maybe. And we're good again. I don't know why that started to happen. That's so strange. I think because only certain ones have hands. This one got a hand. This one got a hand. That one got a hand. That one got a hand. That one, that one, and that one. I think this one, it draws the most interest to me. So I think I'm going to go with... Actually... Yeah, I think I got to go with the most ornate one with a hand attached to it. Actually, wow, I didn't even notice that one. That is dragon hide with wood. Nah, I got to go with the bones. Let's say that's dragon hide with wood and bones on it, but I feel like the one that's just made out of like an intricate set of bones would be the most interesting to look at. So that's what we're going to do with this guy. And see, I feel like, especially nowadays, with a lot of the minis, we lose some of this customization because they're going with the mono pose. And, like, I get it, because the mono pose definitely allows for more dynamic poses, which can lead to more dynamic, interesting minis. And I also get that, first and foremost, Games Workshop is a model company. And while I appreciate that and I approve of that, I kind of wish that their game pieces were more consistently game piecey. But that's just my opinion. I do like that they've got really cool display models, and I think they should continue with those. But I also think that having having game pieces that are more function with some form would also help out a lot. It would make painting them a whole lot easier. And they'd still feel really cool without feeling like being terrified of messing every one of them up, you know what I mean? Like I'm doing right now with this guy's hand. It's not. There we go. There we go. And now he's got his shield, he's got his sword. He's got a big hole in his shoulder because I guess I moved him around too much. Let's fix that. And this is where I need to buy myself some sprue goo. I need to get another thing of the, there we go. Did I open up a little bit? I need to get me some what is called sprue goo, which if you don't know what sprue goo is, that's where they take a couple of bits of plastic and they throw it in a near empty bottle of plastic cement, and it melts down into a sludge, which will hopefully make painting these seams a whole lot more seamless. Because unfortunately, you can kind of see where the seams are separating, which in this case means I gotta hold on to this until it fully forms. And that way, when I pull my hand off of it, it doesn't slowly separate and you don't suddenly see the seams again. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. I think that was long enough. And now he's just got a weird fat roll there, which I can shave down. So he's looking pretty good. I think I'll call him done, which means I can move on to the next one. Next one is a Skull Thumper, or he has a Bane Totem, or... Okay, I see what they're doing there, and I actually kind of appreciate that. So not all of them are using spears, which is fine. You could make all of them use spears, or you can give them like hatchets and shit. So what I think I'm gonna do is I want the Bone Totem. We're gonna give him a Bone Totem and a knife. And I think because he's the Bone Totem boy, he's also going to be the Bone and Mouth boy. Because that just screams like shaman to me. So this one is... He's got one arm up and his left foot forward, or his right foot forward, which I think is... Wait, what's he wearing? What's that man? I think he's got on scale on his... No, he doesn't. He's got... Oh, that's the Skull Thumper.
which is different. So the Bone Totem Boy is this one with his bone armor, and the other one is the Skull Thumper, which is this one, I think. Or is it? I'm having a struggle. Both of these guys look so similar. Okay, that one doesn't have that. The other one is skirt is made out of bone, so that one is correct. So this is the Skull Thumper, this is the Bone Totem. These guys are miscellaneous dudes. So now, let us put Bone in Mouth on the Totem Boy. Give him a cool totem. That can go off that. This can go over here for now, because in the best of cases, he gets a giant totem and a stabby knife, which I think is very funny. So that's what he's going to get. And hopefully, the camera will remain consistent, and not be much more of a problem. There we go. I'm just going to cut that down, shave it down. Do some more shaving. Get rid of as many of those seam lines as possible, because they're going to show up real bad in the painting if I don't. Yeah, there we go. Do some of that. Do some of that. And now he's... It looks like it's supposed to be a goatee, but that's clearly just like a bone lip ring. Hey, Red, how's it going? Good evening. I got a hold of me some old orcs from Warhammer Fantasy, and I'm very excited to own them. My only problem now is figuring out how best to paint them, or how to put them together, because the assembly instructions are far more vague than I'm used to. And that's not a bad thing. It definitely leads to a little bit more personalization of the army, because no one else is going to put their army together the exact same way you did. I'm not going to be on for as long as I normally am, because I need to cook dinner, so I'm probably going to be off in about a half hour. That's okay. We're going to slather a whole lot of gross on here. I love that for every one of these, they had to put like a little meh tongue on the minis. That's very silly. So this is just going to go right here. What I can do to make sure that that sticks really, really good is I can put some more of the cement deeper in. And I'll just hold that tight for a second. There we go. That's a good looking mini. And let's make sure he gets on one of his little... There we go. I'll put him on the base and hold him there for a couple seconds. Then I'll double down on the base and he should be good to go. But yeah, I'm pretty impressed with these minis. Oh no, didn't take. Dangarang. I'm just in general impressed with these minis. They're cool looking. They've got a lot of personality for minis with such limited posing. I'm pretty jazzed with them. So let's see. Let's press down on that. Make sure it's all good. Yeah. And I'll give that a little bit of time to cure, because the next thing I need to do is, I think, give him this. And it looks like he also has a knife. So what kind of knife does he? He has a knife 88, which is not on this page, but that's fine. We're going to clip. I'm going to clip. And we're going to clip. Goodbye. And I'm going to find knife 88. Nope. Oh, wait. Yep, there it is. Cool. Knife 88. So we're going to take that, and same thing. We're going to clip it. There we go. Goodbye. And I'm going to let him settle in a little bit before I start messing with this stuff. But yeah, we're going to take that off. Shave it down just a smidgen. That will allow that to happen. The rest of this actually looks pretty okay, except for some seams, because it looks like they put it on the seam when they separated the molds out. Again, this looks like these are going to be such fun minis to paint, too. Like, I've painted some orcs, and I've had a lot of fun painting the orcs. So hopefully, that trend will continue with these fantasy orcs. There we go. There we go. Trim that down. Do the same thing on this side. That needs to be cut down a whole lot more. So how's your evening going? I know for you it's considerably later than it is for me. It's barely 5 o'clock where I am. I think that would put it at like 10 for you, 10:30ish. Which means it sounds like you're finally at a point where you're getting some quiet from the day. Yeah, and even though that's carved bone, it can be a little geometric and angular, I suppose. It's a good looking model. Okay, so do they have this thing? Yeah, he's just raising this tall thing. How the heck are you supposed to transport these army-wise? Because I guess lay him down because he's just such a tall mini. That's super neat. Let's go ahead and do this knife. Having problems with James again? Sorry to hear that. Hopefully it'll all work out. But I mean, he's at that age, right? Okay, so there we go. Get that knife all clean. Get that wrist all clean so he has a clean spot on his wrist. Oh, I didn't put out his other arm. Apparently he's smoking weed. Oh, well, that's not specific. That's not too much fun. Especially at that age. That seems a bit young, I would figure. Slows down your brain. Okay. Doing that. Doing that. That is kind of the unfortunate thing about having kids nowadays, I guess. Is that the things that we used to do are just nothing compared to the trouble they can get into now. And I definitely don't mean that to sound dismissive, because it's not a lot of fun. But anyway, scratch the neck. Okay, so let's get this arm on his weird other body part that they've kind of left off there. I think that's just going to go like so. Yep, it's just going to fit in like that, and I'll just hold that in place for a second so that I can make sure that it bonds, and then I can fill even more so, like I can really impregnate it with the molding stuff, and then press on it, and that should kind of squinch it together and get rid of a super obvious seam, hopefully. Hello, Arya, how's it going? Why did it not go down? There we go. I'm making some old-fashioned Warhammer Fantasy orcs. Having a lot of fun with it, too, because, like I was mentioning, the instructions on them are kind of vague. And I dig it. Like, they're more so than a typical, than a more modern Warham's figure. So I'm having fun kind of deciphering what the heck they mean with some of the things that they've got in their pictures and instructions. Because these boxes are from before 2010. Which I think is kind of neat. Okay, come on. I just need you to bond. Please bond. Yeah, it did. Wait, oh, ugh. I was about to say it did it, but it did it in a bad place. There we go. There we go. That's going pretty good. It's doing pretty decently. They worked my paw hard at PT, but it's making good progress. He started college 2 weeks ago and has been in once. He's been ditching to smoke with his mates. Well, that's unfortunate. He shouldn't be doing that. I'm glad that your wrist is doing better and that your arm is doing better, and hopefully it'll come back stronger. And I'm sorry, Red, that your son is decided to do the recreationals instead of do the class. Hopefully, whoops, there that goes. Hopefully he'll screw his head on straight soon enough. That was definitely a problem that I didn't have in college because I'm a little woozy, and the smell of marijuana was enough to make me sick and nauseous, so it just never interested me. I'm going to do some arting. That sounds like a lot of fun. I'm going to try and make this guy's wrists stick to his arms in a way that doesn't make the wrists look improperly placed. That's my plan for the night. And we got that. Yeah, I mean, like, it's I've heard all the things about being great for the anxiety and pain relief and just, oh no, and all sorts of other great things about it, but I just can't deal with the smell. It makes me very ill. And I've had friends recommend edibles, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know if I want to lose that kind of control. I probably, who knows? Okay, so I'm not sure how this is supposed to go because the slotting on it is funky. Maybe right there. That looks good. I'm just going to hold this like so. I have customers that come into work in such a haze about them that they make you nauseous from an aisle over. Yeah, no, I get that. I've had students walk in who very definitely spent their time in the bathroom, you know, doing that, and then they come in and they just smell rank. And of course, they're too high to care, so it doesn't matter. Then I'm like, dude, I can smell you. Please don't do that, because in their mind, all they hear is wah 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 wah. Time for a pin. That doesn't sound like a bad idea. I'm gonna try this for now, and if it doesn't end up working, then yeah, I'm probably gonna pin this mofo's hand in. But he's got to have like way too many things going on, which I kind of love. He's got a bone, and a bone sword. So he's doing pretty okay. Now I got to do the drummer. I can't even remember what he's called. What's up? I would love to guess what. What you got? What news have you got for me? Apparently the angle on his foot was not good. You finally hopped on the Baldur's Gate 3 bandwagon. I'm glad. You having fun with the game? I've only played a very little of it, and I was very, very impressed with the construction of the game. It wasn't quite my thing, and I didn't have too great a time playing it, but that doesn't mean I couldn't appreciate the just incredible quality. Only at level 2. You just started yesterday. I think you're not already beyond. You probably are already beyond me. I didn't play that much. I got out of the starter area, got my party members, and then headed over to the refugee camp, I guess it is. And that's as far as I've gotten. Alls I know is that, like I said, I've always had a problem with just standard D&D fantasy, and that it like doesn't super interest me. So the fact that the game is completely couched in it is fine for what it is, because it's a D&D video game. But for me, I don't find the world that engaging. But they did a great job with making the world interesting, I guess. I'm in awe at the level of detail and whatnot that went into making it. Okay, so he needs to have 1378 and face of my choice. Probably gonna be screamy and bald, so 51 should do it. Or no, he should have a cool face, so it's gonna be he's gonna 57, I think. And I've already forgotten the other ones I was looking at. 78 and 3. He needs 78 and 3. I can't count. Let's see. Nope, none of those. He's gonna need another arm. Oh, he needs 13. 13, 78, and 3, I guess. Yeah. Yeah. So that can go over there. What character did you end up rolling, if you don't mind me asking? 13, 70... Wait a minute. These numbers sound wrong. What am I doing with myself? Nope, it's 78, 13, and... Not 3. 78, 13. A tiefling druid. Very cool. Is that because did that have any inspiration from the movie that just came out, or was that a combination that you just happened to enjoy? None of those. I'm having a hard time with the brain. There it is. Wait, no, is it 83? 78, not 83. Where the frickle frack is 78? Well, I'm going to take 57 off because I want him to have a neat head. Goodbye. And I'm actually at a loss. Where the heck is 70? Oh, there it is. It's the big old bone on the axe handle stuff. That's the one you played before the movie even came out. Even better. So you can just be like, they stole your idea. I chose a rogue because I enjoy the rogue and the sneak attacking and just the general jack of all trades. And I made them a dragonborn because I like the dragonborn. So I do say I love how during dialogue, when they go back to your character, there's always like a weird awkward pause as the game is trying to realign characters' faces for like the next neutral bit, and you see them pull just kind of a semi-awkward like mouth only bared teeth look while they're staring into the middle distance. I definitely appreciate how silly some of the programming looks. You're debating between druid and monk since you played both in campaigns. Yeah, and those are both really cool classes. I haven't actually gotten like I said, I haven't gotten a whole lot deep into the game. It's been interesting, I guess, while I've been playing it, but once I turn it off, I just haven't had anything pulling me back into it. So I hope you get more opportunity to play it. And have you been streaming it at all? Have you like gone online and done the streams? Because I sure as heck have not. I've been wanting to, but I'm waiting for Super Mario RPG to come back out on the Switch, the remastered one, because I wanted to get it captured. You're going to in... Oh, you're going to in blind? That's fair. That should be fun. That's part of the fun of doing that stuff, right? I've heard that the game gets considerably better when you do the multiplayer. Because there is a multiplayer element to it. So that's something also to look forward to. Being able to play D&D with your friends with a virtual DM, I guess. But yeah, I've been excited for and waiting for the remake of Super Mario RPG for the Super Nintendo. Because that was a game that I loved growing up as a kid. And it should be releasing in October. What's wrong with the brain to fingers doing words? It's the end of the day. I'm honestly surprised I can hold a half-competent conversation right now, given that I spent all day helping kids do writing, because we had writing testing today. But, yeah. Okay, so he's got a bone and he's got a head. Is he banging the bone on the head? I suppose so. You had today off work and you can't function. You'd love to do multiplayer, but your schedule makes it hard to sit down with folks regularly to play, either in-game or in an actual campaign. Completely understandable. Scheduling is like the bane of every D&D, right? Have tomorrow off, but you're picking up extra hours. Yeah, that makes sense. No one's getting paid enough anyway, so I can definitely understand why you'd want to take extra hours to try and make up for that. Okay, nope. That pulled away immediately, so I'm going to have to hold this down a little more to hopefully merge it. Okay, there we go. We want that to all merge and all that plastic to melt together so that I don't have any weird holes in this guy's. Yeah, these bills don't pay themselves, I know, right? I got a friend who's going through that right now. But yeah, I want to hold us together, pinch the joint, use the plastic cement to merge it all together so it looks like one weird rolled seam. Did it do it? That looks pretty good. And now, I mentioned this already, but it still holds true. I so love the fact that they put a tongue on each one of these because they weren't sure which heads you were going to use. So they've just got weird meh. And I kind of just want to take a marker and draw some little penguin eyes on it. Someone did that a little while ago, and it's one of my favorite things, is they realized that because of the tongue, they looked like little beaks, so they painted the tongue to look like a beak and made them a penguin, like an incredibly muscular, horrifying penguin. So I kind of want to do that, but I also don't want to waste the plastic on these. I want to make them into really neat, angry, savage orcs. Oh, I didn't take off the mold lines on these at all. That's embarrassing. There we go. But yeah, you know what game actually shocked me and surprised the heck out of me when it came to getting me engaged was Disco Elysium. And I know that game came out a lot more recently, and or not a lot more recently. I know that game is a little older at this point, but it definitely, like, the way that it did the narrative and the way it does dialogue is so engaging. Whereas with Baldur's Gate, I kind of had to keep pushing myself along to keep playing it. With Disco Elysium, I basically kept going until my wife was like, hey, we need to go to bed. Which I haven't done with a video game in a very long time. So I'm really impressed with Disco Elysium and how well structured that game is. Really? This thing has... Oh, that sucks. I'm gonna have to cut that out if I want to do, if I want to put a magnet in there. That's okay. Let's see. Next one in line. We got those guys, we got those guys, interchangeable parts. Yep, all the heads are interchangeable. And... oh, okay. Literally every other one can be placed in any other way. Like, there is no correct combination. It's just do what you want to do, have fun. So, I think that's what I'm going to do. How many of these have hands built into them? Not many. In that case, what am I supposed to do with some of these shields? Did they just go on their backs? I suppose so. Okay, then. Okay. And I'm sorry, I'm looking at the instructions, and I'm noticing that some of these are nuts. These are all right-handed weapons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's only 7 shields of note. Oh, they got other things they can have, like stabbies and fists. I gotcha. Suddenly, this makes a whole lot more sense. Okay. Or you can slap them on the backs. Okay, I'll definitely remember that. But I was not aware that there were so many extra bitty bobs. So I'm just going to go ahead and start taking off the heads, which I'll just go ahead and glue on. Whoops, there went that one. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do with some of these guys. I'm going to try and give as many of them as possible shields, and then for the ones that have like dual wieldings, I'm going to go ahead and make them into, oh, that guy's mouth is open wide, put them on the backs. And then I've got the big stabbas that I need to make, because I'll be damned if I'm not going to make a big stabba. That's just such a neat... There's a ton of modularity in the kit. Yeah, let's see. What am I going to need for the big guys? It looks like it's part 8 and part 4, which means absolutely nothing to me, because they were already cut off. So part 8 has a knife. That's part 8. And which one is part 4? He's got... Did I just accidentally find part 4, like, immediately? No. Part 4... This one is part... Whoops. This one is part 4. So these two guys have to stay, because they're going to be a big stabba. Everything else, these last 5, I can do whatever the hell I want with. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I need 2 more heads, which I'm in the process of looking for. Yeah, the idea of a bits box suddenly makes a whole lot more sense, because I feel like there's a lot less bits nowadays in their mad attempt to make everything a lot more dynamic looking. But these are impressive lads. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so now all of them are going to have heads. That works perfectly for me. Which I'm actually probably not going to get to, because I need to go soon. But yeah, I'm very tickled by this. I kind of can't wait to put the Blackrock Orcs together, because I feel like they're going to be basically the same, I'm assuming. And yeah, I'm so tickled to have these to put together and paint. Okay, so that can go there. Chop that off. So do the Warhammer Fantasy Orcs actually just have hair, or do they, because they don't have squigs in this world, I don't think. Wait, no, they do have squigs. What am I talking about? The Gloomspite gets right squigs. But that's only in Age of Sigmar. Did they have squigs in Warhammer Fantasy? Because I've noticed that there's a lot more like bestial stuff attached to the orcs in Warhammer Fantasy. Like they have great wolves and whatnot, pulling their chariots and giant spiders. And in Sigmar, they seem to have moved towards the more proprietary stuff, like squigs. Yeah, so I'm at something of a loss to understand the lore of fantasy, because I know that they ended the Warhammer Fantasy world in favor of rebooting into Age of Sigmar, and that made a lot of people mad because of how badly they stumbled through it. But I don't know. I was not there for the transition. I also heard that when Age of Sigmar first came out, it was kind of not very good, and that it took them a long time to kind of rebuild the goodwill of their player base after stumbling so hard with Sigmar. Though now, it sounds like Sigmar is in a pretty good place. Which kind of makes me want to play it, but at the same time, I don't know if I really should, given that I have such limited time as is. I do still have like 1,000 points or whatever of Stormcast Eternals from the Dominion box. I should do it. I'm assuming you have a Sigmar / Warhammer Fantasy army. I know they're not exactly the same, but yeah. Yeah, I have a box of the new Stormcast from the Dominion, or all the sprues from the Dominion stuff, so I could do that. They do have a really cool winged leader lady and she's kind of the main reason I wanted the box. I really wanted that model over everything else. But I figure, hey, I've got the box, I might as well use that too, I guess. You have 2 Age of Sigmar armies. Oh yeah, we talked about that. You had the Daughters of Cain and the Deepkin. So the Deepkin have that giant turtle, and I have a friend who really likes turtles. And if it wasn't for the fact that I'd have to pay through the nose to get that, I would definitely have bought that model by now, because the Idoneth Deepkin have some gorgeous, gorgeous models. But to be completely honest, my heart is with the ghosts. I really like the Night Haunt. I think I've told you I played Spirits in Magic, so finding out that there was like a directly compatible Age of Sigmar army just made me squeal. In fact, the ones I painted to look like the card Spell Queller, because I just like those minis, or I just like those cards so much. But that's a whole nother thing. I bought the Tempest of Souls starter box from from the second edition Who's It's, and unfortunately I ended up giving the Stormcast Eternals to a friend who then gave them to his brother, and so I'm never going to see those again. But I painted up all the Night Haunt, and now I don't have the money nor resources to get more Night Haunt. But I'd love to have like a ghost army. I don't even know what they're good at or what they do. I just know that they kind of do the fly thing, and they're really weak. But they look really heckin' cool. Okay, so that can just kind of hang out on there for right now. This guy... This penguin is mad. What a mad penguin. Okay, that should work, I think. It's so weird to me. I love the tongues, but it's so weird to me. There we go. And that should help it. That should definitely help it a little bit. You can go right here. I just want to put little dots of eyes on this guy. I gotta say, the Lumineth Realm Lords too, I think they're called the High Elves or whatever, I think they look fantastic. I've been fighting to get, like, some of their armies, specifically the Fox People. I just think the Fox People look so heckin' neato. I would never play the army because I don't have any interest in collecting it in that way, but there are definitely some character units that I'm like, I gotta get those. They inspire me to paint. Okay, that's fair. At some point, I might raid, and you're more than welcome to stick around for that, but, I'll see you in a bit. Okay, so... let's go ahead. Do that, do that. That guy should be good. His tongue is doing crazy things right now. Yeah, there we go. Okay, this one needs a head. Golly, these guys are cool looking. They're going to be so much fun to paint. They've got so much expression on them. It's kind of like painting the who's it's the gosh, I forgot what they're called. The Northumbrian tin soldiers. They just had so much personality and so much expression to them. It looks so good, and they're some of my favorite minis I've ever painted. I can't wait to do that kind of stuff with these guys. Okay, so I actually did a really good job of making sure that those ones are both bald. So the spear guys will be able to successfully hold the spear without having their ponytail top knots get in the way. Which I think is going to work out perfectly. These lads are screamy. Okay, let's see. Yep, that's a screamy boy. And I think, since he's the one charging, that means he's going first, which means I want him to be screaming. I want him to have the fiercest battle cry. Let's go ahead and do that. Put the screamy face on, tongue and all. Oh dear. I think that'll work. Man. Man. Get a little bit of that in there. And really press down on the neck so that it really looks like he's letting out a full-blown war howl. Yeah, just like that. Man, even those eyes are super expressive. That's so cool. Yep, that can go back over here where it's kept safe and special. This guy, I can kind of do the same thing, but his mouth is hidden, so he can just kind of have his head on right. Wow. Okay. So was there supposed to be a specific one? Did I just heck it up real bad? Let's find out. No, they kind of let me put whatever faces I want on them. It looks like they're both supposed to be yelling. Oh well. These are supposed to be completely modular. Bad game. I guess what I should do with this guy is I'm just going to chop off his tongue. Goodbye, tongue. Ah, there we go. There we go. There we go. Now you can't be in the way, you dinkus. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Going to go ahead and do that. And hopefully this will stay on a little better. Yep, there we go. Now his... Golly. His head is so far forward. He looks like a Ren and Stimpy character. Gonna push that on. There we go. Perfect. And actually, unfortunately, that's time for me to go. I've gotta go upstairs and I've gotta cook the dinner. So I'm gonna find someone to raid. And it looks like Arya, you're gonna be joining in on the ride for that. So give me a second. Let's see, who can we raid? Who do we have that's fun? Let's go into the Twitch. Oh, Lovesick is there. Yeah, let's go ahead and raid in the Lovesick. They're really cool people. They got the art going on. Actually, let me check something real quick. They're not streaming yet, are they? They're not streaming yet. Okay. So yeah, we're gonna hop into Lovesick like a dog's amazing, fun, weird stuff. Okay, so /raid. Okay, Lovesick like a dog. I think I got that right. Yep, that looks right. Okay, going to go in for the raid now. Unrecognized command. Uh-oh. Raid. Sick like a dog. There we go. Yep. So, thank you for joining me. I do appreciate it. I will see you guys later, and I hope you have a great rest of the day. Where's the raid button? Yeah. Bye-bye.